It's been nearly 24 hours since the shooting happened. The manhunt, though, continues for this killer. We're expecting to get another update from authorities in about 30 minutes or so. We begin our team coverage with NBC4's Conan Nolan. He's live from the newsroom with the latest on this investigation. Conan.
That's right. To that degree, police in Utah have offered that $100,000 reward. They're looking for help from anyone who can apprehend the person responsible for yesterday's murder of political activist Charlie Kirk. They believe they have the weapon that was used and an image of their suspect. Surveillance footage from a building stairwell of a person of interest, a man appearing to be of college age, who police believe may be the one who, with one bullet, took the life of political activist Charlie Kirk in yesterday's horrific shooting at Utah Valley State University near Provo.
After the shooting, we were able to track his movements as he moved to the other side of the building, jumped off of the building, and fled off of the campus and into a neighborhood. Our investigators have worked through those neighborhoods, contacting anybody they can with doorbell cameras, witnesses, and have thoroughly worked through those communities, trying to identify any leads.
Police believe the assassin shot from a distance roughly 200 yards away, then jumped off the roof. Investigators were able to recover a high-powered bolt-action rifle in a nearby wooded area adjacent to a neighborhood. They believe that is the weapon the gunman used. Tom Winter covers terrorism and security issues for NBC News.
Should they be able to trace that gun, that's not always something that's possible if there's any sort of homemade parts on it, although that appears not to be the case here. If they can trace this in any way, then that could be helpful as well. Even if it was not a legal sale or a handoff, they would at least be able to go to the last person that they have paper on and conduct their investigation from there.
Police believe this was a targeted attack at the Turning Point USA event on campus, which had extensive pre-publicity, with many on campus knowing that Charlie Kirk was going to begin his nationwide conservative tour on this campus, where Kirk routinely engages in political discourse and debate with people who don't agree with him. The 31-year-old father of two young children routinely voiced optimism that face-to-face dialogue was fundamental to a healthy society, a principle for which he gave his life. On Capitol Hill today, lawmakers pleading for civil discourse.
This is detestable, what's happened. Political violence has become all too common in American society, and this is not who we are.
Violence, which affects so many different people of so many different political persuasions, is an affliction of America. And coming together is what we ought to be doing.
That was House Speaker Mike Johnson and Minority Leader in the Senate, Chuck Schumer of New York. The President of the United States says he's going to speak with the family of Charlie Kirk today. Vice President J.D. Vance is going to Utah to pay his own respects and take part in whatever investigation is underway. And we expect a news conference within a half hour. I'm Conan Nolan, NBC4 News.
You know, Conan, President Trump announced this morning Charlie Kirk will be awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I want to talk about the optics of doing that, but also what does that tell you about the significance of who Charlie Kirk was?
Well, he was, that's actually not a surprise. Charlie Kirk, who didn't have all that many great things to say about Donald Trump when Donald Trump first ran for office back in 2016, but he came around. And it is believed he may be responsible for President Trump's reelection because it was Charlie Kirk who went to campuses in battleground states and helped turn out young men who turned out in large numbers for Donald Trump. So he was fundamental to the conversion of so many young people to the conservative movement, which is what Charlie Kirk was beginning to do once again in Utah yesterday when he was starting that college tour.
All right, Conan, thank you so much for that. Yeah, and he really did inspire a lot of younger people to just debate, right? Very interesting.
Correct.
All right, thank you. And so the conversation around the shooting is stretching far beyond this investigation itself. We want to bring in Brian Levin, the founder of the Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism at Cal State San Bernardino. Brian, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. And irrespective of some of the views which Mr. Kirk exhibited, which I found odious, the idea that our marketplace of ideas is going to be censored in some way by violence is unacceptable in America. Thank you for letting me say that.
You know, Brian, first of all, I want to begin by asking you, how did you hear the news yesterday that Charlie Kirk had been shot on a college campus?
Well, I monitor violence and extremism on all forms of social media, and that's where I found out about it first. Oftentimes, those kinds of pieces of information can be woefully wrong. But what I found so terrifying was how widely available, even before news networks decided to have a gatekeeping process, the horrible videos of him getting shot. And my heart goes out to him and his family. But one of the things that we're in an age now where if you're a public figure, you can be impacted by hate, and you can also promote it with an impact. Vice President Vance, during the election, said immigrant Haitians were eating pets. September of last year, you had more anti-Black and anti-ethnic hate crimes that month than the whole for the city of Springfield the year before and the year before that of any hate crime. So what I'm saying to you is the discourse out there at the highest levels needs to be cleaned up, and the social media platforms that allow this kind of horrible aggression to be ubiquitous is unacceptable. And these social media companies are not even cooperating with respect to a clear accounting as to what their terms of service are and how they're enforcing them. One last thing, the Trump administration put back restrictions on adjudicated mentally ill people from having easy access to firearms. The Trump administration reversed that. What we've seen this year is not only a diversity with respect to ideology, but we're seeing a lot of lone males, oftentimes 18 to 26, committing acts of targeted violence, some because of a real defined, rigid political position, others because of a general hatred, some kind of psychological distress or desire for revenge.
Brian, you're talking about social media, the videos that we've all seen on social media just circulating as we're going through our feed. It's horrendous. I'm going to be honest with you. How do we turn down this climate, this temperature that we're currently seeing?
Well, it's very difficult as long as, and bear with me, stereotypes and misinformation, which can sometimes be entertaining or even if not offensive, can there are things that can draw people online. So I'm not trying to make judgment calls here, although we must. But the bottom line is we have a much more sticky type of social engagement. It's stratified across various platforms, and it's stovepiped and tribal. So when we have high transmitters, that will rain down across the spectrum. And one of the things we're seeing, a disturbing number in the millions of people who believe that violence is a legitimate way to resolve political disputes. We're talking the millions, somewhere from the high single digits all the way up to almost a quarter or more. So we have to make sure that our modeling is such that we're talking to each other, not at each other, try to not spread aggression, which is political currency, and also not stereotypes and misinformation. One of the things Charlie Kirk was, while he engaged people, he also spread stereotypes. The problem is it can go out of the mainstream and into an increasingly elastic pool of angry or psychologically distressed people. So when the temperature is turned up in general, there are loose cherries that will act on it. This is a terrible thing, and we now have access to firearms in an increasingly freewheeling socio-political online milieu.
And here's the thing, Brian, is that we should be able to have these healthy debates on college campuses, at the dinner table, anywhere. Brian Levin, thank you very much for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your civic discourse.
And our coverage of the Charlie Kirk assassination continues right here throughout the evening. Conan will continue tracking the search for the shooter, and our Jonathan Gonzalez is digging deeper into the rising political tension in our country. We'll be posting live updates on the NBC LA app throughout the day as well. And remember, you can sign up for those breaking news alerts. We'll be right back.